Have you ever wondered if the legends about vampires are more than just myths? For centuries, these creatures of the night have inhabited our collective imagination. But what if I told you there is evidence suggesting something far more disturbing? Today, we're going to explore the possibility that real vampires live among us by investigating historical reports, modern sightings, and the science behind these enigmatic beings. Since the dawn of civilization, humanity has been captivated by stories of creatures that defy death. The vampire, in its many forms, appears in completely separate cultures, from the Romanian Strigoi to the Chinese Jiangsu to the Filipino Aswang. Is this universality just a coincidence? What makes vampires so fascinating isn't just their immortality, but the seductive combination of power, allure, and terror they represent. They are simultaneously predators and seducers, monsters and aristocrats. This duality reflects our own deepest fears of death, of desire, and of power. But while fiction presents us with glamorous and romantic vampires, the question remains: is there evidence that these creatures might exist beyond the pages of books and movie screens? Let's investigate. The earliest references to vampiric beings date back thousands of years. In ancient Mesopotamia, cuneiform texts describe Lamashtu, a demonic goddess who fed on human blood. In ancient Egypt, the Chemoset were spirits that returned from the dead to drain the life force of the living. During the Middle Ages, especially in the 15th and 16th centuries, Eastern Europe was the stage for numerous outbreaks of vampirism. The most documented case occurred in Serbia in 1725, involving a peasant named Petar Blagojevic. After his death, multiple unexplained deaths in the village were attributed to his return as a vampire. Official records from the time, including Austrian military documents, describe exhumations where supposedly undecayed bodies were found, with fresh blood on the lips and fingernails that continued to grow. These observations, although they might have scientific explanations today, were then interpreted as unequivocal evidence of vampirism. Outbreaks of vampirism triggered widespread panic, leading to extreme practices like mass exhumations, stakes through the heart, and decapitations. These social reactions were so intense that religious and governmental authorities were forced to intervene, creating commissions to investigate the cases. What's interesting is that these phenomena weren't isolated. They spread from village to village, almost like an epidemic. This suggests there may have been something beyond simple superstition at play, or that there was an underlying pattern we still don't fully understand. Even in the modern era, we continue to receive reports of vampiric activity. In 1967, the Highgate vampire terrified London, with multiple witnesses reporting sightings of a pale, hooded figure in the famous cemetery. Investigations lasted decades but never reached a definitive conclusion. More recently, in 2009, a series of unexplained deaths in small Romanian towns reignited local suspicions of vampirism. Victims were found with bite marks on their necks and significant blood loss, with no signs of struggle or other injuries. Social psychology experts argue that belief in vampires satisfies deep psychological needs. In times of uncertainty and collective trauma, these beliefs offer a tangible explanation for intangible fears. But does this explain every account? Or are there cases that defy this psychological rationale? The internet has exponentially amplified the spread of vampiric reports. Forums dedicated to the topic present alleged photographic and video evidence, first-hand testimonies, and detailed analyses of contemporary cases. While many are clearly fabricated, some contain elements that are difficult to explain or completely refute. The question is, amidst so much noise, are there real signs we're missing? From a scientific perspective, the traits traditionally attributed to vampires face significant biological challenges. Immortality, for example, contradicts fundamental principles of cellular biology. Our telomeres shorten with every cell division, and even biologically immortal organisms like certain jellyfish are still subject to damage and death. A diet based exclusively on blood presents complex nutritional issues. Human blood contains only about 0.2% sugar, insufficient to support a normal human metabolism. Blood-feeding creatures like vampire bats have highly specialized digestive systems and metabolisms very different from our own. However, modern science also presents us with fascinating possibilities. Rare genetic mutations can result in characteristics that seem vampiric. Porphyria, for example, causes extreme sensitivity to sunlight and in some cases can lead to a craving for blood due to iron deficiency. Recent developments in gene therapy, nanomedicine, and synthetic biotechnology raise intriguing questions. If vampires didn't evolve naturally, could they have been artificially created? Genetic modification experiments have already produced organisms with traits that seemed impossible just decades ago. The convergence of biotechnology and artificial intelligence opens up even more speculative possibilities. Cyborgs or biodigital hybrids could, in theory, possess traits associated with vampirism. Extreme longevity, superhuman abilities, and unconventional nutritional needs. Historically, the blood countess Elizabeth Bathory of the 16th century presents elements worthy of modern analysis. Documents from the era describe behaviors that go beyond simple cruelty, including allegations that she maintained a youthful appearance by consuming blood. Modern forensic analyses of her remains revealed anomalies that still haven't been fully explained. Paranormal research teams and independent scientists have investigated contemporary cases using modern technology. DNA analysis, spectroscopy, and other scientific methods have been applied to supposedly vampiric evidence, with results ranging from easily explained to genuinely baffling. After exploring centuries of historical accounts, examining modern cases, and analyzing the scientific possibilities, we arrive at a fascinating conclusion. Although we lack definitive evidence for the existence of vampires in the traditional sense, we also cannot completely rule out the possibility. History shows us that the vampire phenomenon transcends cultures and historical periods, suggesting that something deeper is at play than simple superstition. Modern reports, while often explainable, occasionally present elements that challenge our current understanding. Scientifically, while traditional vampires seem biologically impossible, advancements in biotechnology and our growing understanding of genetics open up possibilities our ancestors could never have imagined. Perhaps the question isn't whether vampires exist, but whether our definition of a vampire needs to evolve. In a world where science constantly redefines the limits of the possible, where the line between the natural and the artificial is increasingly blurred, maybe we should keep our minds open to possibilities we don't yet fully understand. The legend of the vampire persists because it touches on something fundamental in the human experience: our fascination with death, our longing for transcendence, and our fear of the unknown. Regardless of their physical reality, vampires continue to exist in the most powerful realm of all, our collective imagination. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough to keep them alive in more ways than we can imagine. What do you think? Is the evidence compelling enough to consider the possibility? Or do vampires remain forever in the realm of fiction? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And if this video sparked your curiosity, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more investigations into the mysteries of our world.